you want to go there. That's Miami Beach. Yeah, I want to go. We welcome you back to CBS Mornings. Today marks the official start of hurricane season. In our series, Protecting the Planet, CBS News is partnering with the Weather Channel to investigate Florida's flooded future and why some residents there are uniquely unprepared. More than 1/3 of Florida's properties are at risk of severe flooding over the next 30 years. Now, last year, at least $10 billion of flood damage from Hurricane Ian was not covered by insurance. Now, a combination of stronger storms fueled by climate change, a strained insurance industry, and lack of effective state regulations has millions of low-income residents facing a major coverage gap. So that's not good. Manuel Bojorquez is in Miami with more on that part of the story. Manny, we just had Jim Cantori here who said it only takes one storm to make a mess. In Florida, they know this song very, very well.
We know it all too well, unfortunately. Gayle, good morning to you. Let's talk about this. Florida's insurance industry is in crisis, with 7 companies shutting down since last February. This is all happening as some people are still cleaning up from last year's storms, and as critics say the state is not doing enough to inform people about their flood risks.
So this is it, huh?
Yeah, you're walking into the living room.
56-year-old Diana Mercado lived in her Fort Myers home for 26 years until Hurricane Ian hit last September. So is this your kitchen? What was once a happy home full of family and memories now looks more like a construction site.
This was the one with the worst damage. It really destroyed everything that was here.
Hurricane Ian hit as a catastrophic Category 4 storm, pummeling the state with 150-mile-per-hour winds and rain. More than 150 people were killed, and storm damage surpassed $100 billion, making it the most expensive storm in Florida's history. Mercado was among the 2.5 million Floridians forced to evacuate. She went to stay with her daughter, Saraí Santos, who lives more inland in nearby Lehigh Acres, about 45 minutes away. When you evacuated, what did you expect you would come back home to?
Just maybe all the trees.
Some
Because
trees
that's
down.
what happened in the past.
You never thought it would flood?
Never thought of, even though I have the lake in the back, it has never been a problem.
Mercado's home was filled with waist-deep water.
I get to her house and it's not the same house. It looked bad.
All I see was mud, and there were some lombrices. What do you call that? Worms in my closet. Everything was wet. I saw, okay, we lost everything. All the water kind of came from the back.
Mercado had home insurance, but without flood insurance, she quickly realized she could not afford the out-of-pocket cost of repairs, which were quoted between $50,000 and $70,000. Dr. Rick Knabb is the former director of the National Hurricane Center and a tropical weather expert for the Weather Channel.
It only takes a couple of inches of water in your home to cause tens of thousands of dollars in damage. Just think what it does to the carpet. If it gets up to the level of the electrical outlets, what that does to your electrical system.
Mercado's home, like many other coastal parts of the U.S., is in a FEMA flood zone. Residents who live in these areas are federally required to have flood insurance. But Mercado says she was never informed by real estate or insurance agents that her property was in one of those zones.
If they told me you need to have it, I would have gotten it, but I didn't know.
According to the Natural Resource Defense Council, Florida is one of 21 states with no requirements to disclose flood risks to homebuyers. Sellers do not have to say whether the property is in a flood zone, if they are required to have flood insurance, or if the home has flooded before.
So home buyers in Florida basically receive no information that would help them avoid buying a flood-prone property.
Rob Moore is a senior policy analyst for the Natural Resources Defense Council.
It's a particularly bad problem for lower-income individuals. In many of the major cities of the U.S., those redlined areas are the most flood-prone areas of those cities. So due to no fault of their own, we've kind of channeled Black people and lower income people into areas that are at fairly high risk.
For many lower income residents, the cost of insurance is also becoming unaffordable. In Florida, the cost of flood insurance averages nearly $1,000 a year. And those prices are only expected to grow in the coming years because FEMA recently changed the way it calculates flood insurance prices. National Flood Insurance Program premiums in high-risk areas could jump by thousands.
Doesn't seem very fair in general to put the flood insurance burden so heavily on the people who can least afford it. The areas that flood repetitively are often places where people don't necessarily want to live in.
He says real estate and insurance agents need to be doing more to inform people of their risks.
They should be going to bat for you to find out the information.
These are things that were taken from the house.
Yeah.
Nearly 8 months after Hurricane Ian, most of Mercado's salvageable belongings are still in her daughter's garage. Rebuilding is slow.
So you've done some of the work yourself,
That is correct.
removing drywall and such?
Yes, YouTube has taught me a lot.
How would you describe what this experience has been like?
I cannot say that I'm homeless, but I think it feels like, okay, you're homeless. I have her. She's been great to me.
She says her daughter has been her rock. Back to the issue at hand. Florida lawmakers are now considering changing state law to require sellers to disclose flooding. But there's another issue for homeowners. Some of FEMA's flood maps are out of date. The agency says that is due to climate change, and it is working to update them. Tony?
Yeah. Now, Florida's a very different place weather-wise than just when I was a kid there 30 years ago, and the insurance industry's got to catch up with it, or the legislature does. Manny, eye-opening report. Thank you very much.
Seems like updating those flood maps have to be a top priority right now.
Well, they know that today is not like the past, but they really don't know what tomorrow is going to be like, so it's hard to predict.
Yeah.
But Tony, the people that live there really, I have two sisters that live there. They really love it. Nobody plans to move, even though they know this is an issue all of the time.
But the problem is she didn't know. She
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
told
true.
by her real estate agent.
It is still paradise, right? And the taxes are low.
What are you going to do about it?
What am I going to do about it?
You're a Florida native.
Can I move there? Can I do the show from Zoom there?